Daryl, we won't see your squad till tomorrow, I think. How different could this side be on Saturday?
Uh, yeah, potentially get a few boys back. So obviously still early-ish in the week, so we'll see. We've trained final prep on Friday. So yeah, we'll see where how the boys go then. But yeah, potentially a couple of boys have had a look this week. Caleb, Mikey, Tommy Doyle have all sort of done some training, so. We'll wait and see. Hopefully they'll be okay. See how they pull up from today. Today was a more intense session than yesterday, so I should have a few more options available. Uh, so yeah, like I say, we'll wait and see what later in the week looks like.
What's the latest on Jake Truman's possible involvement?
No, Troy won't play, so he ended up having a few sort of concussion protocol issues that we we've had to sort of get him right. So it'll take potentially the next couple of games, but we'll see because obviously we've got a shorter turnaround to Hull. He's in the process at the moment of doing everything that we need to do by the protocols, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
So you said after the game there was some issue with his shoulder. Has he actually had a bang to the head as well, or at the
Yeah, he
same
had some.
time?
Yeah, he had some sort of delayed concussion symptoms that yeah, sort of came on as he was sort of sat down during the second half, so he couldn't go back on. And then obviously it is what it is, what it is with the concussion stuff.
Um, Before we talk about the opposition, the England performance squad, how nice was it to have Tom and Mike involved?
Yeah, obviously great for those guys. They've been around it for a while now, and both the performances this year have justified being in that. So yeah, delighted to see. I think for the club and for individual players, it's great to see. So yeah, we feel like we'll have a few more in there in the future, but for the moment, then those guys fully deserve it.
Could Max Jowett consider himself unlucky not to be involved this time, given how well he's been playing?
Yeah, I think it's been hard for Max because he's played quite a lot at halfback, which is in some ways really good for him. Yeah, because it proves he can. Yeah, he's got another string to his bow. But in another way, he's not able to sort of force himself in because I don't think he's going to play international football at half. And, he's a chance at fullback. They say he's played sort of quite limited time there with what's happened to us from a half-back injury perspective. But yeah, look, it's something he'd really like to do. I think he just needs to keep growing and developing, and he's certainly improved significantly over the last couple of years. And I think we get him playing there regularly, then he'd be pushing for that for sure.
And can you give Tom and Mike an idea of what it's like to face the Kangaroos?
Yeah, well, it's everything sort of speeds up 30%, to be honest, from the other international games. Obviously, playing against the Kiwis was always, right up there, but the Aussies are just a different level, the speed and intensity that they play at. Obviously high quality players every single position, so it's certainly challenging and it's going to be a very difficult prospect, but it's what we all wanted to see. We all wanted to see the Ashes back, and it's a great opportunity for England to show how good they are.
What sort of challenge do you expect from Catalan on Saturday then?
Well, a physical one, obviously they've been through a period where they weren't scoring points and they were rattled after Steve left. They look like they've stabilised. So they've had a couple of performances. They lose to Lee at home in a really tough game. It was 12-all until the last 20 minutes, and there's nothing in it. And then the took Huddersfield apart a little bit last week. Very big physical middle unit. Some very explosive players. Lots of offloads. So yeah, dangerous team. I think they've got some intelligence in there. Luke Keary and Sam Tompkins, who can pick a team apart. So we know it's going to be a tough game, but I think it's a key game for both clubs. So I'd expect it to be high intensity, high quality game. And yeah, it's an important game. we sat around the top six at the moment, and the next month for us is quite important. We all know that. I think we've competed really well over, played all the top four in our last four games, and we've been there or thereabouts. Apart from the second half last week, in all of those games. So yeah, we're in a great place and a good opportunity for us next month to get some players back and start to really play how we know we can.
Just lastly for me, Darryl, you've spoken a lot this season about the atmospheres down at the DIY Kitchen Stadium, and this has got the potential on Saturday to be one of the biggest, hasn't it? Because you've got an increase in capacity at the stadium, you've got negligible away support. I think there's a ticket offer of £5 a ticket and kids for a quid.
Yeah.
What do you expect on Saturday in terms of that atmosphere?
Well, the same it's been. It's been a really electric atmosphere for the players to play in. I think you look at what the club does when the players walk out. It creates that sort of vibe about it that it's quite a special environment. And then the fans have been electric. Really, I think hopefully they grab hold of this ticket offer and we get some new fans down to experience what it's all about. And yeah, it's always when Catalan come over, it's parochial against them, obviously, and we want to feel that environment. Obviously, we want it to be difficult for Catalan, but yeah, it should be great. Looking forward to it.
Um, on True, I mean, obviously it's another real gutting blow for him. How is he? Because obviously he came here with intentions of regular rugby, regular minutes, and when he's been on the field, he's looked really excellent. I mean, how is he after another setback?
Yeah, well, hopefully this is a short-term setback, So he's looked all right this week. I just wanted to get him, make sure he's all right. They're never great the head knocks, the impact that they have on the way that you feel. He was pretty rattled after the game, so yeah, well, I think he'll be all right. It's a short-term setback. We get him back on the field, and he should be fine. So I don't think there's anything to read into it other than that, really.
How's Ollie Russell coming on? I mean, obviously you've had to shunt Max into the halves a little bit when Truey's not been there. Is Ollie closing in?
Well, he's training at the moment, so he's still got a decent strapping on his. It was a big break that he had on his thumb, but he's training at the moment, so he just needs to play now. I need to get him where he's comfortable with that thumb, and which is it's like I say, it was a big injury, so he's not too far away, I don't think.
Would you look to get him a game somewhere, or would you just be tempted to throw him straight back into Super League?
Oh, we'll wait and see. I think obviously we've got a reserve game this Friday, which is probably a little bit soon for him. But no, we keep him in house.
On Catalans, I think it's fair to say that their strength is through the middle. This would be an opportune week to get a couple of big boys back like Caleb and Mikey, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was pretty easy to see last week that we were a little bit smaller in the middle, and they took a bit of advantage there in the second half. So yeah, look, it'd be great to get. I think if we ever get the opportunity or I do, to be able to pick from a full team, then we'll be in a great place. I know there's a few other clubs got a few injuries at the moment, but our middle unit's been sort of blown apart really. But that looks like it's starting to ease now, which will be very handy.
Just lastly, you mentioned it's a big month. I get it's a big sort of 10 days, is it? Catalan's a couple of wins behind you, and then you play Hull, who you're only a point behind. You really start to make some inroads up the table, can't you, with a couple of good results now?
Yeah, that is really, we down the track we play Leeds soon as well. We've got Huddersfield. So yeah, this next 4 weeks are absolutely pivotal for us, in terms of being in the top six and being genuine contenders as we roll towards the latter end of the season. So yeah, we know there's a little bit riding on what we're doing over the next month. So yeah, some key games.
Just a quick one from me, really. You've had an awful lot of injuries this year, as everybody knows. But in a strange way, does that turn out to be an advantage? A, because you're still in the running for the top six, and I think a lot of people think you will get there eventually. Um, and you've managed to do that without a lot of key players at crucial times of the season. And the second point is when you get to the business end of the season, a lot of those players who might not have been first choice selections if you'd had a full strength side, they've now had the experience and the they've shown you what they're capable of doing. So if you do get injuries towards the end of the season, you can actually feel a lot more confident about the way you're likely to perform if you do get into the top six.
Yeah. You've answered your own question there, Martin. I think
Yeah, I
yeah.
just put my words in your mouth then.
Yeah, no, you did well. You did well. No, exactly that. Really, I think that our depth is greater than what we potentially thought it would have been. People like Josh Rock played quite a few games. Harvey Smith's played a lot of games, and shown that he's a genuine Super League player. So yeah, 100%. There'll be. I think sort of freshish players coming back as well is another way to look at it. Sometimes the sort of weight of a Super League season can take the edge off players, but we'll have fresh players coming back, loads of competition for places. So yeah, I think whilst it's never ideal, being shorn of so many players, I think particularly last week was a tough one for us against the best team. But yeah, it has its benefits at times, as its rewards. So yeah, there's good opportunity as well for people who might not have been a regular to start pressing for that.
You will have a few selection headaches, of course, when some of the other players do start coming back. The guys who, I mean, you can only pick 17 or 18, I suppose, on a match day. You'll want to keep the guys to keep playing, presumably, who have been playing for you. Would you prefer them to play in your reserve side, or would you prefer to farm them out to championship sides just to keep them ticking over?
No, well, we've got a game on Friday. Apart from the 18th man, once we've checked everybody's on Friday, we'll play Friday. So I want to keep. I think the reserves competition is an important competition, and it needs to grow and get better. So at the moment, I think I don't think Batley have got a game. Don't think Gould have got a game this week. So the guys who have been out on loan will all be in our environment this week. So yeah, I'm pretty keen for us to keep them in house if we can. Obviously, it needs to be the right thing for the player, but at the moment, I think that's what we'll do. Yeah.
You mentioned Josh Rock just there. I believe he's out of contract at the end of the year. Has he done enough this season to warrant a new deal?
Uh, yeah, I think something we've been talking to Josh about. So I think he's done really well. Max playing at half, him being a genuine option at fullback. Then yeah, he's getting close to that sort of that position where we feel really comfortable with him moving forward.